So, you guys remember last year when I talked about Battery Check? Despite being essentially an advert game given away by the Dutch Battery Foundation in exchange for recycling 10 empty batteries, it was actually a pretty decent platformer. Well, it certainly wasn't the first game of its kind, as there were plenty more like it made for these kind of special promotions over the years. Several companies and initiatives wanted to get their name out there, so of course they all jumped on the video game bandwagon, with mixed results. So, in that spirit, I figured I'd pull a JonTron and talk about some of the ones that I've come across over the years that you've probably never even heard of, because they were all made right here in the Netherlands. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start with Zefalo, whichever. This game was created as part of a Dutch campaign to raise awareness of the dangers of alcohol abuse. Drinking destroys more than you hold dear. Well, be that as it may, these people in the main menu sure seem to be enjoying themselves. Everyone except for Zefalo here. He's probably grumpy because he's stuck being the designated driver for tonight. Or he lost a bet and that's why he's wearing that spaceman outfit. But no, the real story here is that he goes into these people's brains to rid them of the effects of alcohol. So I guess the follow can shrink down like Ant-Man? Unfortunately, when actually playing this game, it dawns on you pretty quickly that this was clearly made by people who have seemingly never played video games in their entire lives, because the jumping controls are, without hyperbole, the very worst I've ever seen in any video game I've played. You hold down the jump button to make the follow assume the position and he jumps straight up if you release it, or you can hold left or right at the same time to make him leap in that direction. While in midair, he can sort of flutter left or right for a few scant pixels, but it means you need to be dead on when trying to get onto a higher platform. Except the regular jump won't even get me out of this damn pit to get away from this spider thing. No, you have to be holding down the run button while jumping to get up higher. And you need this pretty much everywhere, which makes me wonder why the regular jump even exists. But even when I sorta got the hang of the controls, there's this horizontal leap onto a platform right at the beginning that really tripped me up, because no matter what I try, I keep missing it, unless I somehow wiggle my way onto the very last pixel of the ledge and then jump. Jeez. To beat the level, you have to grab these alcohol molecules and dispose of them in garbage containers, but you can only ever carry 5 at a time in your backpack, so that means a lot of tedious running back and forth, and all the while you have to avoid obstacles like flowers? Lips? Skulls and crossbones? What is all this crap doing inside this guy's brain? Of course, with the controls being what they are, avoiding them is easier said than done, to say nothing of how unfair this level design is. Look at this! They placed the goddamn health kit in a pool of searing acid! How do you avoid this crap? I tried, I really did, but I couldn't even make it past one level of this. The graphics and ad-lib music at least are tolerable, but the sound effects get grating really damn quick with Zefalo's yelping whenever he jumps or gets hurt. You know, for a game meant to tell people of the dangers of alcohol abuse, it's certainly making me want to get wasted, and I don't even like alcohol. Screw it, let's move on to the next game. Red Cat, made for the Dutch Rabobank, who'd give you a free copy if you opened up a new junior savings account with them. Well, that kinda limits your player base right there, so I had to rely on friends to copy this game from instead. Right off the bat, we get the Joker's laugh sampled straight from Prince's Bat Dance. Oh, you just know you're in for a quality time after that. The plot is simple. Some bad rats stole some treasure, and it's up to Red Cat to get it back and show those rats who's on top of the food chain. So, he arms himself with his mom's best stew pot and a plastic sword and sets out for adventure. A platform adventure. Like the plot, the game itself is fairly simple as well. Just navigate the stages and make it to the exit, grabbing treasures and weapons along the way and trying not to get killed. The controls are less than perfect, but after Zefalo, this is like Super Mario by comparison. Red Cat jumps fine, although you can't control his momentum in midair, and he tends to bounce off the walls. Literally. So when trying to jump off these trampolines, it's anyone's guess where you'll end up. But holy crap, he can really move when you hold down the run button. Of course, the thing everyone who's ever played this game really remembers about it is how ridiculously violent it is for a game aimed towards kids. Fighting the rats feels like you're watching Saving Private Ryan, with entire armies spawning liberally from trash cans, and meanwhile you're blasting them with bombs, machine guns, or even flamethrowers, or just turning them into red mush with your sword. Hell, in later levels the rats even don German helmets just to kinda drive the point home. It's incredibly chaotic and frantic, and it's so much fun at the same time to just see all this carnage unfold. That aside though, general, the level design is rather uninspired and the hit detection is less than perfect, especially when you're trying to grab items. The sound effects, like the Joker laugh, are mostly ripped from Bat Dance as well, but since there's no music, that's the only thing you'll be hearing throughout the entire game. That, plus the clunky controls and less than stellar graphics, make this game average at best. It's certainly a step up from Zephylo, but on its own merits, there isn't anything to write home about. Though the game was apparently successful enough for a sequel to be made. Red Cat 2, The Kidnapping of Princess Dana. Yeah, because originality. It's pretty much the same as the original game, just slightly prettier looking, and it has actual music this time. Well, ad-lib renditions of classical music, but it's a step up nonetheless. Either way, it plays pretty much the same as the first, for better or for worse. After this, Red Cat will get picked up by our old friends at Davylex, yep, the same ones behind Amsterdam, and spin off into his own line of edutainment titles. But I won't be covering those since they're out of the scope of this video, and I haven't played them anyway. So that leaves us with the last game on our list, and let me tell ya, it's something special. Yogo Yogo, based on the popular Dutch brand of yogurt drink, which was well known during the 90s for its absurd commercials and its obnoxiously catchy jingle.
Kijk, daar heb je Dracula en die zit Uma achterna. Yogo Yogo!
In the game, you play as a kid of ambiguous gender in a floppy hat, who apparently starts stripping balls after imbibing one glass of their favorite drink too many and goes on a bizarre adventure. Well, not really, since this game counts your lives as dreams. I think they simply just fell asleep in front of the TV. This game's easily the best of the bunch. Heck, I'd even go so far as to say it's a hidden gem as far as 2D platformers for DOS are concerned. Each level is more or less based on the commercials that you're given a rhyme outlining your goal, which involves finding a certain number of items and bringing them back someplace. All the while bouncing around, stomping on enemies, finding keys to open doors, and replenishing your health by drinking plenty of everybody's favorite processed fruit-flavored dairy product. As you've no doubt noticed by now, the game's gleefully bizarre as well, particularly when it comes to each level's goals. One level has you finding a cow's missing spots, the next you're stopping the oceans from draining by finding enough cauliflower to make this diver here sit down and take 5. And enemies include things like cheese wheels, naked old men on bouncing balls, and cow udders. You know, ordinary everyday things like that. The controls are tight and responsive as you gleefully run, crawl, and hop around the levels, although one minor annoyance is that you can't jump through platforms from below, so you'll often have to find a way around them instead, which seems a bit counterintuitive. Though there's only 6 levels in all, not counting bonus levels, they are pretty large and full of stuff to collect. Unfortunately, I find it is a bit too easy to get yourself hopelessly lost as you're chasing after the items you're meant to find. Not to mention bringing them back where they belong. Especially the later levels get insane with how you're meant to check every nook and cranny. All the while, enemies gleefully respawn when you're not looking and can drain your health with cheap shots rather easily, making you burn through your lives quickly if you're not careful. And the game has no continues either, so if you run out, it's all the way back to the beginning, but hey, practice makes perfect. With a few tries, you could probably beat this game pretty quickly once you figure out where everything is. The game's got a pretty nice cartoony, colorful look to it overall, and the ad-lib music is insanely catchy, even including a rendition of the famous jingle as the main menu music. So, if you're gonna go with any of these, Yogo Yogo's definitely the one I'd recommend. Red Cat sadly hasn't aged gracefully, and Zephylo's little more than a curiosity nowadays. In any case, I hope this little look back at these strange old games has been enjoyable. See you all out there somewhere. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to stay up to date on my new ones, please subscribe and maybe watch some of my other ones I've linked to right here. You can also support the channel by going to my Patreon and sending me a bit of cash every month for every video I make. Thanks for watching yet again, and see you out there somewhere.